right, so I have a little fun crafty project I'm working on today. I am taking some of the remains of old candles and trying to make new candles. These are all things that I learned on YouTube from other videos. We'll see if they work for me. Cross your fingers. I've got my setup here. It's currently looking like a mess, but the end products I hope will look much nicer. The general idea is use hot boiling water. I have wax color discoloration on my fingers right now, but use hot water to get out the last little remnants of wax in the candles, because the hot water makes the wax liquefy and float to the top, and then when it cools you just break off a chunk of it, and that removes the wax. So then you make a little pile with all your different colors like this. See, this is what I broke off the top of this red one earlier, but I still have more wax in there. I need to put more boiling hot water in there to get the rest. This was just some old pillar candles that are not in jars, and so I was trying to break those apart with a knife to use those orange colors. I've got some empty candle jars here to refill. I have one wick, brand new wick, to reuse in this glass jar. This is a Yankee Candle jar. And then I bought these wicks on eBay. Or no, excuse me, I'm wrong. I bought these wicks on Amazon. I heard about these from another YouTube video. And then I've just got all these little pieces of wax that I need to melt down. So we'll see what happens. I've also got a mug. This is a Santa mug that I can use to put a candle in, depending on how much wax I end up having. It's kind of hard to visualize it until I start pouring it and seeing how it all plays out. So let's just see how this goes. For an example, I literally take this boiling pot of water off the stove and pour it into this jar to get all those extra pieces of wax to float to the top. And also those little pieces of black yuckiness will float to the top, and I can get those shortly. But I'm interested in getting, especially that stuff in the bottom, I want to get that out of there. I would like to have the color of the candle be consistent, but you know, we'll see what happens. So I'm going to boil up another pot of water. I like this pot because it's small. I may have to do it several times, but I like it because it's got the little lips on the side there. It makes it easy pour. And so, you know, I don't have my kids with me this afternoon, so I've got the whole kitchen to myself, and I can just spend some time working on this. Okay, so this wax in the microwave has turned mostly liquefied. We're going to use a pot holder, pull it out, and pour it into a jar with a wick in it and see what happens. Okay, so my jar became half full from the amount of wax that I melted. I am going to melt some more wax to pour on top. There may be a minor color variation between the amount that's in here that's going to begin to cool and the amount that I add on top later, but I'm not really worried about that. I'm not a very picky person, and plus there is this nice design on the outside of the jar, so I don't think it's going to be that noticeable. Besides, you know, layered jars are a thing, so beauty's in the eye of the artist. So I am going to keep going. I want to show you some of the wax that is boiling up from the bottom of this particular candle. You can see the motion, the movement in there of the heat transfer, making the wax at the bottom slowly come to the top in little oily, waxy bubbles. And then over here you can see it a little bit more clearly. It's beginning to break up here. Now these will cool down and solidify, and I can just scrape them off the top, and I should have a pretty clean candle jar at the bottom. Here is a really good example. Now this top part looks opaque because it's starting to cool. You can see I got a little bit of wax there on my finger. but you can see the indentation. That means it's starting to cool. It's not solid liquid anymore, or it's not complete liquid anymore. Look down here with me. You can see all the way through. So at the bottom here, we have the remainder of the candle. You see these little bubbles? Looks like little mountains or hills on the bottom. Those are pieces, areas of more melted wax that are trying to bubble up to the top. Now I've got the water in the middle, so when it comes time, when this top layer is completely cooled, I'll just pop it with my finger. It'll pop right out like a tin can lid or something, and I'll have a sheet of wax. And then if this doesn't all come to the top, I'll pour more hot water in it to make the rest of that rise to the top as we try again. Okay, so now I have this candle full, almost to the top. I'm going to let the whole thing cool. I did not show myself pouring this because it is so extraordinarily hot. I really felt like I needed 2 hands to be safe, and I didn't want to hold the camera and a pot of hot wax at the same time. So I will show you that as it cools. Here's my first little candle that I made. It is not lilac blossom scented, but it is a cute little candle. I think I did a good job on this one. It was just very nice for practice. You can see how small it is. It's one of those old $3.50 candles from Bath and Body Works. You can tell it's an old Slack Company candle, the White Barn Candle Company section from a few years ago, but I'm really pleased with it. It looks like something I would buy in the store, except for the fact that the scent is totally different, but it worked out, so that was pretty cool. So here's the final result. I made a total of 8 candles. Some of them have single wicks. There's one double wick right here and some triple wicks. This double wick, actually, I did not have to melt. I just shaved down the edges enough so that it fit in this jar, and then I shoved the candle into the jar. That was easy. It's not real pretty on the top or anything, but I like it. And as it melts across the top and fills in, it'll get smoother that way. So I'm not real worried about that. That was easy. I've got a variety here, and this will last me a little while. Probably my best one was this small one, and that may have been because it was so small. I was able to get a handle on it a little easier. Trying to coordinate 3 wicks is a little challenging. I'm sure if I have some practice, I will get better with that in time. This one here has some bubbles in the sides. I'm not quite sure why that happens or how to prevent it, but I'm sure that there's someone on YouTube who has a video on it that I can watch and learn. Anyway, so for a little bit of time yesterday afternoon, I came up with 8 candles, and I'm really proud of that. So do you make candles? Do you enjoy it? I'd love to hear your stories. But anyway, this Christmas season, I want to say Merry Christmas to everyone and a Happy New Year. Thank you for watching. I've really enjoyed sharing my life with you guys. Let's look forward to a happy, prosperous, and blessed 2019 coming up. So thank you guys very much. I'm Beth, and that's how I'm doing it.